Have you experienced past lives or met someone who seems oddly familiar? Having knowledge of past lives might help you understand your life and relationships better. Have you ever met someone and thought, wow, I not only know this person, I get the feeling I've known them for a very long time. I just feel so comfortable around him or her, and yet we've only just met. Or maybe you get an instant loathing of a person, but don't know why. There are signs that can help you recognize some people you knew before, and you might find out why you are crossing paths with them again in this incarnation. Share some of your experiences by linking into the show from our live chat room. We would love to hear from you. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Andromeda 7, your celestial gateway, your channel for community support, help, friendship, love, knowledge, and just plain being of value to others. Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, it's good to have you with us. If you're returning, thank you. And you know what time it is. It's Monday night. It is time to grow your heart and feed your brain. And tonight we're exploring past lives, and it is a call-in show. And I have put the link in the description here, and I'm sorry, not the description, but in the chat room for you folks. And all you got to do is click on that link. I can bring you in and we can talk about your past lives. But we do have a really nice panel tonight with us. We've got Dalibor Suki. So good to have you.
Yay.
Jeannie Griffin, good to see you. And of course, Grandpa Brian. Love you guys so much. Glad you're here and happy that you're joining us. And I will turn it over to Teresa to talk about why we are here.
I think we pretty much know.
We know now.
We know now. Well, we had a good part one of past lives.
And, yeah, we did.
And shared a lot of information and kind of felt like there was more to share. And we noticed that a lot of different people in the audience had some experiences too. So we thought we would give them an opportunity if they show up tonight to participate, to talk about some of their experiences. It could be deja vu. It could be a dream. You might not really know. And also, you don't always know. You have a feeling about someone you've just met, and you just don't know. You're not sure. So we're going to talk about some signs that we've learned about that might help you identify. Not only folks you've had past lives with, but some type of soul connection. It could be a past life. Probably is. Or it could have been a family member or a friend, a lover. You never know. So we're going to kick that around a little bit and talk about that. And just leave it open for people to jump on and come on and say hi. Wave to everybody, Or if you don't want to use a camera, you have that option too of turning your camera off. You just get a bouncing bubble.
Yeah, something like this.
Like Lori's
hey, everybody. You can hear me, but you can't see me.
There you go.
Looking good.
So most of you know that. Most of you know how that works, right?
Yep. We
but
do.
Before we do a greeting and say hello to everyone in the chat room, I do want to make an announcement. You may have caught the Facebook announcement and Instagram announcement earlier. We just synced up with Odyssey. So now we're streaming over the Andromeda channel, the Pure Love channel, YouTube, and Odyssey as a backup as well. And you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And I'd like to welcome our 50 new followers on social media. We really appreciate your participation. 50. And I can't call out all 50 of you, but you know who you are. And if you get a chance to subscribe, you can either subscribe to our YouTube channel or you can go over to Odyssey and subscribe. For now, that's what we've got, those two mediums. So if you're not comfortable on YouTube, go over to Odyssey. Either way, we got you. Feel free to jump into the chat, get to know some people if you'd like. And if not, just watch the show and enjoy. But you're more than welcome to link in tonight if you have a story you'd like to share or questions for the panel. So having said that, I'll just bounce it back to Lori for a call out.
A call out. Well, I don't see anybody quite ready to go, but I know that Jeannie has something she'd like to talk about with
No, I
past
meant
lives.
if you wanted to welcome the chat room members or
Oh,
anything.
call out. Yes. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, a little off there.
It's all right.
Woo! All right. Hey, Go-Go. How the heck are you? It's good to see you.
Go.
Grumpy Stack, I can barely recognize you anymore. You look like a completely different guy.
Yeah, he
Looking
does.
good, brother. Seriously. All
Yeah.
that hard work is paying off. So nothing is without your desire to have it happen. So good for you. Chloe, so good to see you. Thanks for being here. I really, really love my my cool rocks and stuff that you gave me and all my goodies. Thank you so much. I
She was
appreciate
showing
that.
them off over on Max Vision.
Yeah, we were
Sunday.
talking about it. Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah.
Let's see who else. Shout out. Smoking
And
in
Chloe,
G.
that
Good to
rock
see
she
you.
has that
Smoking
you
in
gave her,
G.
it's a liver, Chloe.
Yeah, that's a
Smoking in
trip.
G.
No doubt about it.
That's right.
Delaney Pearl Jones, really good to see you. Glad to see you've
Oh,
got your handle
Delaney.
back. Yeah, she's back. Elderberry, good to see you. Barry Chad.
Elderberry.
Looks like he's cooking dinner. Wish I could come over there. I would come over there in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You bet. Let's see who else we got. It's looking like that's about it on the shout out.
Trina says much love, no hands, but chat soon.
Oh, okay.
She's driving, evidently.
Oh, I don't.
She's
Oh, there she
driving.
is. I didn't. Oh, she just popped up. There.
Hey, Robert.
Awesome.
Robert has a show tonight too, right? Or had one.
Oh.
Yeah.
No,
Robert
I
B.
think he's on after us. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, definitely go check out Robert B's show for sure.
Yeah.
He's doing some amazing stuff over there. So good to see all the growth with everybody at the Soul Tribe. That's for sure. So good to be a part of this group. Most definitely.
So we're having a call-in show for
Absolutely.
those of you that just jumped in. Hi, Gaza. Good to see you, brother. And we're going to paste the link down below or somewhere on the screen.
It's in there. It's in the chat. If you're interested
chat.
in sharing, it's right there. You
Just
can't
pop
miss
on.
it. Click on it. I'll bring you in and we'll chitty chat with you.
All right. Well, let's start with the discussion on the signs of how you can identify some folks that you may have had a previous life with, and then we'll open the table, give people a chance to show up and jump in. And Jeannie's got a story for us as well. Or all right, so
our panel's got some stuff to talk about.
That's all right. So like in the video, Lori was saying, sometimes you just meet somebody and you go, oh my God, I know this person. Sometimes it's a really good feeling, and sometimes it's like a not so good feeling. But lots of times you just don't know how it is you know them or why it is you know them. And a person you have just met can read you like an open book, knows exactly how you feel or what you're thinking without you even expressing it, and understands you like nobody else has or ever has before. Have you all on the panel ever had that reaction?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You have,
yeah. Why do I feel like I know this person?
I was just acknowledging Elderberry's comment there.
What's transpiring?
Yeah, what's transpiring. So
I can't see anything because I'm blanked out.
See, that's the literal translation from my native language into English, you know.
Yeah, that's our what's happening or what's up. Yeah.
All right. Another sign.
You
have a brief encounter with a person who becomes an instant catalyst in your life for making the changes you have either given some thought to, but never moved on about. So they become a catalyst, or they give you a solution to a lifelong problem that you may never have even considered. And it's like a light bulb goes off in your head. You don't even know this person. They might come to you in various forms. They might come to you in various forms too. A friend, a neighbor, a new coworker, a doctor that you're going to visit, a loyal or a potential mate. Somehow the person has the ability to shift your perspectives. It happened to me in my doctor's office. She's a Chinese doctor, practices Chinese medicine, but she works for one of these HMOs. And I was giving her a bunch of flack about not wanting to take all this medicine for pre-diabetes when I thought there should be a healthier way to go about it.
That's horrible.
And I gave her my regimen of what I had decided I was going to do. So here I am. I'm telling my doctor what I'm going to do. You know.
I like that.
And she
me
just
too.
took one look at me and she goes, I swear I know you.
Hmm.
And
Oh.
I'm not quite sure how I know you. She said, but you know something? I've been thinking about doing this all my life too because of my sugars. She says, I'm
Huh.
going to go try that. And the next time we get together, I'm going to let you know how it worked out for me. But you go ahead and do your thing. I'll go ahead and do mine. We'll skip the metformin for now since it's making you sick. And we'll see how
Yeah.
it goes. And I'll see you in a month.
Mhm.
So she sent me 2 emails when I, as an update, and I sent it to her. She was doing much better with her sugars. We get back together a month later. I do my A1 tests, and I was almost normalized, and it was all from what I was doing with everything that Jeannie and Susie had told me about, and other people.
Mm-hmm.
Then I gave myself an eating plan and a regiment.
I don't want
So
to
she
be
took a copy of my
responsible.
dietary plan and started using it as well.
Oh, poor
And
thing.
she says, I'm telling you, we've known each other. She says, do you believe in reincarnation? And at the time, I was still
Are you sure
struggling
she
with it.
hasn't seen the show?
Mhm.
Really?
right.
Did you ask her?
This was a couple of years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hadn't even
wow.
gotten into it. And I said, I'm
Yeah.
still
Wow.
I'm
That's when I still lived in
processing
Rio
that.
Vista.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was pretty
I was
cool.
in Rio
So
Vista.
she thinks she knows me from a past life. We just haven't figured out what it is yet.
Hmm.
But that's how you meet somebody, and it's a catalyst.
Yeah.
You make a connection, and it's a catalyst. Now, can that happen and you not have a past life? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But chances are.
It's
When
usually
it
like
World War II.
it's usually like an overwhelming thing, and it's usually not something subtle. It's usually something where like you just get a flash of insight, like I'm going to start a company with that guy, because it's
Yeah.
happened. It's
Yeah.
happened,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's usually not
You just
something
know it.
prosaic or ordinary either. Like, oh, I like tomatoes or something. No, it's usually going to be something bizarre. Like if you enjoy sleeping on a bed of nails, then chances are you're probably like a yogi in a previous life or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's surprising when you meet somebody and you're like,
Or you're a Catholic.
You're what? What'd she say? I didn't hear.
Something about a Catholic.
A Catholic, or you're Catholic?
Am I on? I thought I was backstage and you couldn't hear me, and I'm just talking to myself.
No,
we're
heard me
live.
saying it?
Yeah,
We're live.
Oh my! Because
Yeah,
it
yeah.
says on here that I'm backstage. I said, unless you're Catholic. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get involved.
That's all right.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
You're fine, Jeannie. You're fine.
Yeah,
Let's
because
see.
they do that kind of stuff. They, I forget what they're called, but they're parts of the Jesuit clan.
Oh, right.
But they flag them. I mean, they do, they do horrible things to themselves.
I never knew that
Like
about
sleep
the
on a
Jesuits.
bed of, like,
Really?
they, Opus Dei. Opus Dei.
Yeah, I heard about them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They do
So,
stuff like
Jeannie,
that.
do you have a past life story? Do you have anything that you wanted to talk about with that?
Well,
what's your experience?
Well, my experience is I've had some near-death experience, which is not really involving with the past experiences, but in a way they are, because they're all connected with ancestry. And back in the day, I guess it was in the 1400s, the turn of the century, when the English Parliament did the penal laws against Wales.
Yeah.
And they had been fighting for a long time. Well, I think, and I've spoken with Mike, and Mike's asleep right now because he has a sore hip, but that's why he's not here in the picture. But I know I was a warrior as well, because I know that I was shot or something in my hip, because I had stuff going. He's laughing.
I'm sorry. I have milk. I'm sorry. I have to tell you, I've got Milky Way in the back here, and he's got quite the get up. And it reminds me of last year when Barry Chad came in as the wolf. All right, I'm gonna bring him in real
Oh.
quick. I am so sorry to interrupt
Because
you, Jeannie.
it's Halloween
Yeah, here
or
we go.
what? Okay, I can't see anything. I'm just like turned off or something.
Oh wow!
There he is.
No way. So the chicken
Hello,
pox.
everybody. I have come from the other side to tell you that it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Transition from here to there. I am the wizard from the other side, and I have come to tell you that death is just the transition.
It's only the beginning.
It's only the beginning. I do not fear death.
Oh my god.
That's great.
You're crazy. I love it. That's so cool.
Aren't you a little early for Nina's costume party?
This is my everyday clothes. What are you talking about?
Awesome.
You look like a demon with chicken pox, right?
Demon with chicken pox.
That's great.
Okay,
Looking good.
I'm having fun with this. This is great.
I love it. I love
I
it.
got my whole get up and setup here. I was like, I'm ready for Halloween, you know?
I was gonna say you're a little short. There you go.
Yeah.
I hope you have a story to tell us tonight after Jeannie finishes hers.
Not much. It's just that the study. Do you ever notice that everybody out there studies death? That's the one question, and the one thing most people worry about. It's not, so that right there has to tell you something. If you don't believe in anything, that must tell you something. Yeah, because that's the only thing that everybody has really in common.
Yeah, because we're all in amnesia here. We don't know. We don't remember any of this stuff. We're not supposed to remember. So we're all in the same boat.
We are.
The Egyptians were obsessed with death. I mean, their whole mythology, their whole society was structured around death.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very true. Very true.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, most civilizations are the religions are all, the Catholic religion's all based around death. When you die, you're going to go to heaven or hell. You got to plan your whole life for that, system. The other ones are like, well, if you die for your God, you get all this 72 virgins crap, and other ones, God will reward you on the other side. So it's either the biggest foolery in the world that's been going on for centuries, or it's something to it, because we all fear we don't we don't fear dying, but we all just don't want to die.
Don't want to.
Yeah.
And we will work really hard to keep other people alive as long as absolutely possible, when they're gonna go, but we're gonna keep them if they can breathe 1 minute more. Why is that? Is that like an imprint we have from the other side? We got amnesia, but is that the one thing that we carry through?
Hang on, Jeannie.
It's a genetic memory.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But also too, if you don't know what you're missing, if you're not even aware of what's going on, when you have this clean slate and you come into this life and everything is like, you have no idea and you're afraid to die, and you don't, because you don't know about it's all unknown to you, so you're confused and you don't know what it's all about.
Right.
You have this urge to stay alive and be alive. I'm not afraid to die, but I don't want to die anytime soon. I can tell you that.
Me either.
But I think the more you go inside and you realize who you really are, and the more you discover yourself and you understand how things work in the universe, it takes all that mystery away. And then you feel like you got a handle on this.
Absolutely.
But not everybody feels that way, because everyone's on a different path.
Well, I'll tell you what, Robert, stay right where you are. Don't go anywhere. We brought you in right in the middle of Jeannie telling her.
Yeah. Well, I can't really stay.
No worries.
I got to get ready for my show.
Okay,
that's
sounds
right.
good.
That's right.
Yep.
But thank you anyway.
That was awesome, Robert.
I hope you enjoyed the get up.
That was awesome. Thank you. That was
good to see you, Robert.
Yeah,
all right.
Good to see you,
Yeah,
brother.
good to see you.
Thank you.
Later. Okay.
All right. Bye, love. He's
He's
trip.
awesome.
That was great. Jeannie, we're sorry about that, but we couldn't resist. That was too good to pass
Oh
up.
yeah, I mean he was in the back there.
We got to take her off of mute.
She's on mute herself. I can't unmute her because she's muted herself.
Jeannie, you've muted your microphone somehow. She doesn't know how to unmute it.
Yeah, says
there you go.
There you go. Yep, you've got it. Yep. It's all good. You're doing good.
Okay, but now I can't see the screen. I can't.
You don't need to see the screen. You don't need to see the screen. Just
but
go
I
ahead.
Can't see you all. I can't see you.
Well, you want to go out and come back in?
It's okay. I like to look at. Well, I can't see very good anyway, so it's okay. But, so whatever I was saying, from what I remember, and I just want to mention that it's not so much when you die, it's how you die.
Yeah, there's only one way to be born, but there's a million ways to die. That's what I always say.
Sure.
And I guess,
and I've had 3 near-death experiences, so I know what it's like to choose how you're going to die.
Yeah, I feel that. So you were talking about the 1400s.
In the English Parliament, they had been off and on. I mean, since like, I don't know, 1112 or 1121. I get things transposed. But the Welsh and the English had been fighting off and on, and the Welsh were trying to get the Irish Celts and the Scots, and they were helping each other fight the English. I think there was a couple of different kings. I think it was King Edward, King Henry the Fourth. I don't remember all of them, but they wanted to establish a dominance in Wales during the Welsh War of Independence, which was 1402. So they had been fighting already for a couple hundred years, right? And so they were, and this sounds so familiar to what we're going through today, because they wanted to prohibit the Welsh from obtaining senior public office, bearing arms, buying property, having public assembly. They were forbidden education, and if an English person married a Welsh person, then the English person would relinquish all their English
ties.
Rights.
Yeah.
Right. Their rights. So it was during this time that I feel very connected, and I was a warrior of some nature. I don't know for sure, but my name is Griffin, and Griffin it was my grandfather. I was married, but I went back to my maiden name. I was a Sloan. I was married to Sloan, and but when things went sideways, I went back to my maiden name, and then things really went sideways after that. But that's not what we're here to talk about. And
how did you discover this?
Well, I was born with a messed up hip.
Okay.
I was born with crooked legs, crooked feet, crooked hips. But by the time I was 3, I could speak in 3 languages.
Wow.
That's interesting. Fascinating.
And so, I mean, and I had, well, let me just tell you what happened. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. When I was born all messed up. My whole lower body was messed up. And I later found out that my mom was short in folic acid, which relates to spina bifida. Now, my mom, she took me home. She was young. She was still a kid herself. And but I had an older brother, and my dad was stationed in Quantico, Virginia, as a Marine. And she lived there. And my husband was a Marine. Okay.
Yeah.
So
my dad was a Marine. So like I said,
hoorah.
Yeah.
Hoorah. Yeah. So, okay. So, I was born, on the night of the only 5th general in the history of the Marine Corps. It was the night of his ball. You know how the Marines have balls every year?
Yeah.
Okay, it was the night of his ball, 5th general.
Okay.
From World War II. And my mom, I wasn't supposed to be born for like, I don't know, like 3 more weeks, probably 3 more weeks, possibly 4, I don't know. But I was a little premature, but not like months premature, just, you know.
So
And,
you had a lot to straighten out when you came into this life.
I sure did. And my mom, she didn't like that idea, so she did try to kill me. She dropped me on the floor.
Oh my goodness.
My whole face was splattered. I have these 2 things right here where you know where your head is like in traction.
Yeah.
And I have scars all over my face, and right back in the back of my head here is very, very tender all the time. And so, and I think my eyes went crooked. That's why I blink a lot. So
vision issues.
So anyway, I was taken away from my mother, and I was given a midshipman as my mother and father, and I called him Mapa. And he took care of me. He was a midshipman, and they did surgery on me. He took care of me. He took me wherever he went. He worked in the hospital, so I'd go to the hospital with him. If he went on vacay, I went down to New Orleans with him. That's where he lived. I knew his mother. He took care of me, and I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from him. But then at a certain time, I was sent back to my mom. I don't know why, but I was. And so a lot happened during that time. But during the course of me growing up, I would get these things. I would get these visions. And it was a war, a warrior. I was a warrior. And I was hurt. I was killed in action, and I don't know exactly what hit me, but it was either an arrow or a gunshot. I mean, back then they didn't have guns, but I don't think. Well, yeah, they did. I don't remember. They had arrows. They had, I don't remember the actual fighting.
Yeah, but you're getting bits and pieces of this vision, and I bet you're asking yourself, why is this happening and what's that all about?
Yeah. And so I think even though my mom lacked that folic acid that is so prominent in spina bifida patients, it was perhaps, and I was born that night. The president shows up, and when my mom went in to deliver me, I was in room 2. I was delivered in room 2. I still have my little card and everything. And the president, Eisenhower, he was in room 2.
Wow.
And I still don't know what transpired during that time, but I did know about tunnels. I remember going down below, and I don't remember if I was with Ma Pa or if I was with the President of the United States.
Man, it sounds like a past life regression session would be really good for her.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh,
Past
yeah.
life
And
regression.
so anyway, that was the beginning of my life. You know, my mom was all dressed up and she had her little white dress on, and
Yeah.
it was formal, and there I come out and I'm all messed up.
Yeah.
And she did not like me. She did not like me. So
That's wild.
she tried to kill me.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of karmic cleanup for you in this lifetime, making peace with all of the past. Seems to be a common theme with past life regression and all of that. Once you make peace with the past, you can move forward. But yeah, you just don't have any memory, or many of us don't have memories, and that's to protect us. That's so that we can have the life that we're in right now and enjoy it without all that baggage. But the thing that seems to happen as you become spiritually awake, you start learning about all that, and then you really start to figure out why you like the things you do, or why you don't put up with the things you don't want to put up with, or certain people that come into your life. It gives you a whole better understanding of how everything works, and it really is about karmic cleanup. And so when you told that story about your legs and how you were, it, to me, the most immediate thing I thought about was straightening out everything, getting this is a lifetime where you're kind of straightening out all of that past baggage and issues.
Yeah, I think
Well,
it's
there's another issue. Excuse me. There's another issue that during that 1402, there was something prior to that, also in Wales, where the the women were that were, you know, because these wars went on for a long time, the women were sent to priory, which is Catholic. And they were, this one woman, she was there, she was 11 when she was sent there, and she was 54 when she died there. And that priory is in England. I forget the name of it. I have it written down. But they're connected with Fordham, which my father went to Fordham Prep and Fordham U in New York, which is also a connection in my view.
Do you still have a relationship with your mom? Do you have a relationship with your mom at all?
I probably have never had a relationship with my mom. Probably never. But all I ever wanted was her to love me. You know?
Yep. That's what we all want. Yep. No doubt about it. Yeah.
You know. So I don't know if I was sent here to, you know, sometimes I wonder if I was sent here to give my mother and my brother a lesson in love. But you know, it's not all just my karma, because when I had my I had sessions, and they told, and the woman that I was in session with, who has a connection with a gal that was my shaman. She was my shaman back in California. And I call her my shaman, but she was a shaman, but she was my shaman. So, but she hooked me up with this gal, and she was fabulous. And she told me that I'm here. I don't have karma. It's the other people's karma that they're learning from me. That's what she told me. That's what she told me.
So
what
do you think?
I don't
What's
think.
your feeling about it? How do you feel about it?
Well, I didn't do anything except be born. Number one. Number two.
Oh, so you believe that you just were brought in here and you had nothing to do with it? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, but by the time I was 2 and 3 years old,
Mm-hmm.
I could walk. I could talk.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke in 3 languages. I was potty trained by the time I was 2.
Yes. So
Now,
you got
my
past it.
brother, well, sure. And my brother, when I ended up going back to my mother, which it was a long train ride with my mapa, we went up and around up towards Canada and came all the way back down. And we left from New Orleans. That's where he was from.
Mm-hmm.
And so he didn't want to give me up. And there's even more story to that than I'm speaking to. But I had Stockholm syndrome, you know.
Yeah.
And the thing is I was so determined to show my mom how to love.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother's a narcissist. Okay, she lies about everything. She
It's her
taught my
path.
brother
It's her
terrible
path to walk.
things.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also there's pedophilia involved.
Oh, brother. Okay.
You know, I was the scapegoat. I was the scapegoat.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay. And there's 2 kinds of goats. One is sacrificial, which I was sacrificed. She tried to kill me. And then I was also a scapegoat. So I was both goats, according to the Abrahamic religion.
Yeah. Wow.
Abrahamic.
That's fascinating. Yeah.
So anyway, I could go on and on. So I don't know if there's anybody calling in or whatever.
Yeah. No
I
worries.
can so relate to aspects of her story.
Yeah.
Though. It sounds it's very similar in terms of
Well,
understanding.
see, I wanted to bring up a different dimension, and that's that not necessarily all the past lives are being played out sequentially, but concurrently. In other words, you could be actually incarnated in 2 different lives on the same planet at the same time, because the matrix that controls all this or whatever might not be that intelligent. Which is, and since I've like moved countries so many different times, moved continents so many different times, that I've met people that I recognized over here as being people I knew over in the United States, and vice versa. Who were like the spitting image, the same mannerisms, same appearance, same everything. And I'm like, how do I know that I don't have like an exact duplicate somewhere in China? You know, because the matrix thinks that I'm never going to get over to China, and I'm never going to meet this person. So I'll never, come to that understanding that I live a more multi-dimensional life than I may even realize. See, so it could be not just lives in the past that you've had.
Sure, or concurrent lives.
Which could also explain things like glitches in the matrix.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Wrap your head around that one.
I concur, Galber. I concur.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting. Go ahead, Jeannie.
Well, because I believe, it's not that I believe, but I tend to think in the ways of Valhalla and the North. And my grandpa Hugh, there's a lot of him involved in this, and his mother was from the Welsh family, and then his father, he was a Nordic. He was Viking.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of transgression that was put on these people by these fanatics, these religious fanatics. And my mother is one of those religious fanatics.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
I
Wow.
have to say.
We have
I
someone who
mean,
just,
you know,
yeah. We
up
have
in. Oh, good.
we have someone who
Sounds
just
good.
joined. Yeah. Uh, it looks like Lii Lee. Sorry, Lee. Are
Was
you
it
with us?
Leanna? Leanna?
Yeah. Ah,
Leanna King?
hello, hello. Aw,
Try to
bummer,
come
bummer.
back.
Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
actually, Dalibor, it's interesting that you mentioned the multidimensionality aspect of this, because
The
what
trees, the level in the.
if what if you're going through an experience with someone in a different reality, and it's bringing up certain emotions within you during that reality, and when you're here, it's affecting your emotions with the people you're reacting with,
Mhm.
going through something quite similar, and
Mhm.
you carry it over from one reality to the other. I believe that's happened to me.
Oh,
Mhm.
sure. Yeah. Well, that's the alchemical principle of resonance, or not necessarily resonance, but correspondence. And that's the second alchemical principle, which means that items in one level of reality can interact with the other level of reality right next to it if the situation is similar enough. If you recreate a similar situation, like I'll give you a good example. Like I know so many people that have either where the whole family has the same exact birth dates as my family, or like the surnames are the same.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how
Or
do
a
you explain that?
variation of it. Yeah,
Yeah, or
exactly.
variation. Like my
Mhm.
grandmother's name translates into English as Wheeler. And you
Mm.
have no idea how many people I know who also have a grandma whose last name was Wheeler.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
Mhm.
mhm.
How about you, Grandpa Brian? Do you have anything you want to share about that?
Yeah,
Yep.
I've
I mean, you mentioned some past life regression, so that's
yes.
pretty heavy
Uh,
duty.
yeah,
Was
there.
this
Go ahead.
who did the past life regression for you?
Jim.
Oh, okay. And Jim is a
Jim.
psychic medium. Yes.
Yes. I fought in 3 wars.
Whew.
The first one I
Mhm.
know of was mid to late 1400s in Russia.
Wow.
Mm.
Basically,
Oh, was that the Bolsheviks?
No,
Like, or that
Bolsheviks
was
happened
before?
in around 1920, 1918.
Okay, that's right. Okay,
yeah.
yeah, 1932, 1933 in Ukraine.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I basically was injured in that war, and back then there's no transportation, so I had to walk home from the war.
Wow.
What year was that, Grandpa Brian? What year did you
It was the
say?
mid 1400s.
1400s. Okay, that was the same time that I was fighting the Welsh, the English.
Yep.
Do you know what war it was?
No, I do not.
Did you have any, did he give you any indication of what maybe your battle attire would be, to kind of get a feel for what the timeline would have been, or about what
Uh,
time you would have existed in that?
no, it was more about when I got home and my father had passed
Oh.
away, and being the oldest child of the family,
Mm-hmm.
being the man in the house, and then butting heads with my mom, which is my mom in this lifetime, which basically it reoccurred with my mom and dad. Me being the oldest, mom and dad divorced when I was 5 years old, and happened to be the man in the house again, and again
At
we
5.
butted
At
heads.
5. Yeah.
So I'm trying to break that cycle now that I know that cycle keeps reoccurring, because there was another lifetime where she was actually a landlord of mine and we butted heads. Yeah.
Funny how it comes around,
Wow,
doesn't it?
they just keep coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh my God, I wonder if that has something to do with my life too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. There was another lifetime. I know it was, he didn't say what year, but the war was fought with swords, and my dad was wanting me to become a general, and I really didn't want to be in the military.
Mm-hmm. Didn't
And
want to play the game.
Exactly. So,
But back then, you really didn't have much of a choice, huh?
right. Me and my men, basically, what we did was after the battle was over, we would go out and kill any of the survivors that were left
Whoa.
on the battlefield. Then I talked to my dad and said,
Oh my
yeah,
God, that would be horrible to do
yeah.
that.
Well, I talked to my dad and said, instead of killing, why don't we try to save these soldiers? So he allowed me to pull the wounded off of the battlefield.
Yeah.
And the first time there was only like about 8 survivors out of 35, 40 people. And the question that he posed to me was, how can we save more of our men off of the battlefield? So I think that's where I kind of started my healing,
Yeah.
really wanting to be a healer.
Mm-hmm.
The other war I fought in, I fought in World War II, and I fought on the side of the Germans, and I did things that, weren't so nice, but, in wars, you're not going to do nice things.
No,
So,
But look at the contrast of your life now and the things that
Oh,
you're doing
yeah.
now. You've got your Reiki
right.
mastery. You're helping others now. You're healing. You're doing the complete opposite of what you did back then.
Exactly.
And that's the karmic clearing that you're doing each and every lifetime, whether you know it or not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
But what country were you with then?
Germany.
You were German. You were with the
Yes.
Germans. Well, the Germans were fighting the Bolsheviks, so you were actually on the good side. Okay, I probably spoke too much right now, but remember, the Bolsheviks were the ones that went into Holodomor and went up and then went into Russia, and that's when Stalin took over.
Mhm.
And we have German in my family too. The Celts were German. The Celts, there was a whole. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, Brian. Go ahead.
Oh, that's all right. But I also had a past life where I was actually a Reiki master. That's why the Reiki comes
How
so
fun.
easily and so natural to me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Now, see, did
That's
that
interesting.
did that predate? Now, I don't in a linear time frame, because we think of things in terms of linear.
Because
Did
we are
that-
human.
Did that predate your time as a Nazi?
oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Watch
you
this.
brought that skill from
Uh-huh.
back then, that knowing, that wisdom.
Yep.
Part of you brought that into this now
Mm-hmm.
to help clear the karmic activity from the time
The
that you
past.
were with the Germans.
Yep.
Yep.
So we pull on, or if we're looking at it from the multiverse multi-concurrent perspective, you're collectively pulling in all the resources and all your different lives right now into this present one.
Mm-hmm.
And you, just like your guides work with you, whatever spirit guides you have, so do previous versions of your higher self. That's why you have a higher self or an oversoul, where Lori described it as the oversoul pulls a line in here, pulls a line in there, fishes. They're helping you control all this so that you can bring those skill sets to the table to help you keep moving and growing and expanding, but also to help you clear up anything that you left in a not so great vibe, to get you to a higher frequency here and now.
How do you think that helps you now, Grandpa Brian, knowing this kind of information about yourself? Does that do anything for your now lifetime? I mean, do you see the benefits?
Oh, yes. It helped me understand a lot about myself and who I am as a person and who I want to be as a person.
Right.
And knowing what you did in past lives,
Yeah.
like you were saying, I'm able to correct that karma and have been doing that in this lifetime. So, and I know this is a lifetime where a lot of us, there's a lot of karmic debt that needs to be cleaned up for us to really, truly transition into that fifth dimensional being. You can't carry them karmic debts over into that. That's why A lot of us are going through a lot of shit right now
Yeah.
because we're trying to clear
But we have to know the
karma away
truth. We
to
have to
really
know the
ascend.
truth.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right,
Um,
Jeannie.
Truth.
Yep.
Yep. Truth Seeker's asking
Because
a
the truth-
question, Brian.
Sorry.
Where did Grandpa Brian live when he was a Reiki master? Now, there might be a connection between you and Truth Seeker. This is an interesting question.
Oh,
I was in Japan at that time.
Uh-huh.
We're
there
probably
you go.
talking early 1st century.
Yeah. I love Japan.
First century.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So you were a Reiki master back in time, or in another timeline in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
and you were a soldier in the German army during World War II.
correct.
Okay. Yeah.
And there was
See?
nothing wrong with that, Brian. There's nothing wrong with being a German soldier. Just so you know.
No, I know.
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
He's
I
more
just want to
concerned
make
about
that
the actions.
clear.
He's just
Yeah.
more concerned about some of the actions he took when he
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
a German soldier that
Right.
don't make him feel comfortable.
Well,
But
then
those could have
that's
been
true, but
agreements
a
and
lot of those-
contracts.
True.
But a lot of those pictures that are from World War II are actually from Holodomor in the Ukraine. In Ukraine, from 19. I know because I've seen the document, and a lot of those photographs that were used to document World War II for Auschwitz and all those other places was actually Ukraine photographs
Well, some
from
of
the
them were,
Bolsheviks,
yeah.
from the book, and the book was this thick. They showed deportations, but the deportations were from Germans, Russians, all kinds of different people from Ukraine, not from Germany. They weren't from Germany. They weren't. And funny thing is that this document, there were 2 documents. My girlfriend that I've known since I was in grade school, and her uncle got these documents in Italy from a soldier when the war was closed, and he was a tailor that used to sew all the officers' clothes, all their uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
And these photographs are not from World War II. They're from 1932 and 33 from Ukraine.
Some of them are.
It
I
was-
worked at the Holocaust Museum, and I'm one of the ones that helped put it together and design the displays for the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. So I can validate what
Mhm.
you're saying 100%. Not all of them came
Mm-hmm.
from Germany. However, quite a few of them did, and I had a hold of a book this thick that was written in German, in its German print, from the same year that Hitler came into office. And then it's a documentary that goes, and it's actually unusual because it's in color. There's parts of it where they colorized it, and it wasn't mine. It belonged to my brother-in-law. We took it down to the museum to have it validated, but there's sections in it that show some of the things that never should have happened. And
Right.
so those things did happen in those concentration camps. And I even had my hands on some of their artifacts of the human skin that was used to create the lamps and the shoes. And I mean, I held them in my hands
Wow.
from Auschwitz. Okay. So a lot of that did happen, but it was blown out of proportion and enlarged to the fact that to make it look even more outrageous than it really was. It happened in different camps at different times, but it wasn't the norm, everyday kind of norm. So in other words, you could have a group of soldiers who just take things in their own fashion, do what they please. They're rogue. You know, it's not like everybody that was a Nazi was like that. It's not everybody that was a German was like that. It's pockets of that. just like today when we have our news, oh, the whole United States is having an upheaval. No, it's one city and one town up north,
Yeah,
or it's
they
two or
say
three cities. It's that kind of thing.
they say the first casualty of war is the truth, and that holds true for even this informational war that we're in the midst of right now.
Yeah,
And as
Mhm.
regards, what
Has been
happened
going
in
on for
World
years.
War II, I live here in Europe, so I'm kind of familiar with all that. And the concentration camps were like throughout all of the occupied territories, and most of those prisoners were shipped either to Germany, Poland, or Czech
yeah,
Republic, which is my country. And yeah, some members of my family were inmates in the concentration
right.
camp system. So
Were they in
yeah,
Russia? Were they in Russia, or were they in
no, in
other countries?
other countries.
I see.
So
Yeah,
basically, and don't forget that when Hitler invaded Germany, it was actually the Ukrainians that sympathized with the Germans, the invading Germans, and were almost like helping them out. And some of them, like the
Right.
Kalmukians, they were actually siding with the Germans. So that's why after Stalin defeated all the Nazis and kicked them out, he punished Ukraine and punished the Kalmukians and disbanded the whole country basically.
wow.
Right.
So
The United States was hooked up. They were allied with Russia, and in Russia, they wouldn't allow the American Heart Association to go in there and inspect it, but in Germany, they did.
Yeah, yeah.
mhm.
They
Well, I
were
tell you,
allowed.
I think that one of the most important things here, from my perspective, is what Lori was starting to say to Brian, and I think what Jeannie's trying to say is that for some reason you needed that experience in that timeline.
Mm-hmm.
You agreed to have that polar
Mhm.
opposite of what you were in the Japanese timeline, and now you're here to clear the karma, but to have new experiences here. So, with each one of these, it seems to me anyway, in my experience, I can't say for anybody else, but in mine, it seems like I grow sideways and up and down and in and out. You have your ups and your downs in every single one of them, and
Yeah,
some are great
Oh.
experiences and some are horrible.
I think. I think that in my situation, I've been regressed, and I have three past lives that I'm aware of, and it's exactly what you're saying, Teresa. Each one of them was like the opposite of the other one.
Uh huh.
Like in one of my previous lives, I was an office worker, and I was working for Minister of the Interior Kerensky under Lenin's government in the Soviet Union,
Wow.
and I was
Wow.
an ardent communist in that life.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, I was punished in this life by being born in communist Czechoslovakia, having suffered all the abuses of
Oh,
Uh huh.
communism.
Mhm.
So I basically was my own punisher, you could say. You
My
know?
sister
Hmm.
told me, and I mentioned
it's
this
like,
in the show
screw me.
a few months
Yeah.
ago. I think it was last year we did a show, and I was
Dang.
mentioning how Lori helped me connect with my sister in the afterlife. And my
Oh,
sister and my niece both telepathically connected with me and spoke to me and told me why they went through what they went through here with the abuse of the self, the drugs and the alcohol and all of that, and why they took themselves out, and the horrors they went through in their last few years here. And
wow.
they explained to me it was because they had been sort of an elite group together as a family unit in another lifetime, in another era, another geographic location, and they were the ones that had the upper hand. They were the wealthy ones. They were the ones who looked down, who kind of like dissed people who had troubles.
Mm-hmm.
They ignored them. They treated them like lower class. And
That's how
so,
I was treated.
yeah, so they did
Yeah.
some things that were not so cool to
Mhm.
people. And so
Mm-hmm.
the flip side of that is in this lifetime, they went through hell on earth because they had it so good in the other one and they were doing such great, such
Yeah,
horrible
it's
things.
karma.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they explained that to me. And they said, "You're not part of
Yeah.
that soul family." They said to me, "You're not part of that." So I know I
Mhm.
wasn't here for that, for any part of their karmic clearing at
Mm.
all.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know,
That's
I'm here for
interesting.
something
Yeah.
else. Yeah, but it
Yeah.
was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
got to be something to it, Dalibor, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Definitely, and usually that's exactly how it works out. But I've also observed the fact that I've integrated all my past lives, in that there's an aspect of my present life that's definitely reflected in that past life, and or vice versa.
Yep, that's true.
Always
I
like that.
found
It's
that
like,
with mine too. Yes,
mhm.
absolutely agree
Mhm.
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
Attributes,
thing
things you're
I
good at.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt.
it's okay.
That's okay.
Just those, these attributes and things that you're good at. You're just naturally good at something, or you come in with those gifts and talents, and then you wonder where you got them. And then as you delve into the past lives, you realize, oh, I got it from that lifetime, and I pulled it from that, and it's just fascinating. I mean, the more you discover about yourself,
Yeah,
the stories that each
and
person, each individual has is amazing.
you
Hmm.
know
Go ahead,
what?
Delbor.
Yeah.
Even when I was a little kid, like maybe 5 years old, I was thinking, what if, where was I before I was born? Uh, I had
Mhm.
these thoughts without even knowing the word reincarnation or anything about it. I
Yeah.
was thinking,
Mhm.
what if I was here on this earth before, and what if
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking these same thoughts
Yeah.
back then
Yeah.
as I am right now?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Just
which
in a
made me
different avatar,
just
Yep.
in a different
which is a
avatar.
different set of
Mhm.
rules for each
Yeah,
lifetime.
All right.
yeah,
Yeah.
Listen,
exactly.
I wanted to take just a couple minutes to go over a couple more of these signs, because some people have actually sent me emails and have asked me, how do I know? So I do want to touch that in case they're listening. Um, and also, I came across this myself in a video, and I was like, oh my God, this is so true.
Okay.
Um, one of the signs is that you might feel a person is here right now to help you fulfill a higher purpose, or perhaps to accomplish a higher purpose with your help.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, you
Hmm.
intuitively know there's a reason for coming together. And
Mm-hmm.
regardless of the outcome, you feel you must stay connected, if even only for a little while. Perhaps this person is here to repay you for a deed you did for him or her once in a previous incarnation. That's one that really, I just really resonated with that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Number
Mhm.
5,
Mhm.
the
Uh-huh.
connection with a person seems telepathic. You get a text message or call for him or
Mhm.
her just as you were
I
thinking
do
about
that
that
all the
person.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Or the person says exactly the same thing you were saying at the exact same time. That happens to me and Lori a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
think about the same thing at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
finish each other's sentences. It could mean you had a very close past relationship. Let's see, when together or collaborating on an activity with this person, you often don't even have to say much or speak out loud. Your ideas will
Because you
automatically
can
sync
just.
up.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm.
Often the
Been there, done
silence
that.
between you speaks louder than words.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Okay?
you
You
do
can
have
know
that
what they're thinking. Yeah,
Yeah.
telepathic ability.
I know what you're
Mhm.
thinking right now.
So you're
Okay.
not only connected by the past life, but you're connected by the now and what's happening now, and
Or the
energetically.
linear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead.
Or
Sorry.
Huh.
or you're sitting down across from someone. Let's say you have dinner or lunch with someone, or even a business meeting. It could be someone sitting across from you from the conference table. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
Or on this video camera, like now on a panel.
Yeah.
You can see it in their eyes. As the saying goes, you can see into one's soul through the eyes. So
The eyes are the
familiar.
windows to
So
the soul.
familiar.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
feel you've gazed into those eyes
Mhm.
1,000 times before. There may be other familiar traits that you recognize in their mannerisms and speech. The frequency of their voice resonates deeply in your soul.
Mm-hmm.
It happened
Yeah.
to me with several Soul Tribe members over
Yeah.
the past couple of years, for sure.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's skip that one. Now, a person reminds you of a place somewhere in time. You
Mhm.
just can't remember where or even when until you get triggered by something both or either one of you have said in the conversation and the
Mhm.
floodgates open. You might have
Yeah.
visions or dreams as you begin remembering your past lives together. And that's kind of happened with us. we started coming back and comparing notes. You have lots
Yeah.
of common memories of being in the same incarnation with someone, and it just totally blows your mind. So you do remember.
Mm-hmm.
The more you exchange stories, the more you help each other remember. And perhaps you're both clearing karma.
True.
Perhaps you needed to come together in this incarnation to find out what you need to do to move on with the rest of your life. So the author of this said, if you're experiencing most of all of these signs with someone, you're most likely interacting with someone in a previous incarnation, perhaps several incarnations together. Chances are you were
That's
closely
true.
related. You were very closely related. You may have been intimate. You may even be soulmates.
Mm-hmm.
You just never know.
Mm-hmm.
So now you don't, we're telling you this tonight so you can have that in your bank of tools. So that if you're not sure and some of this is happening, it might be a trigger for you to find out more.
Mm-hmm.
And not just
Yeah.
listen.
Right.
Delve
There might
into
be
it a little bit
reason.
more, investigate it, and see.
Yeah, or give you that incentive to
Yeah.
want to learn more about
Right.
Yeah. Well said.
about reincarnation, about past lives, about karma. I'm not so sure that because of where I'm at now, I used to really be into the karma thing, but in a way, I look at it like karma is like that propaganda baloney about sin, about original sin. We were not, I mean, it's like the sin they gave you, so, the sin he gave you so he can forgive you, which is all a bunch of baloney anyway. And,
Yeah,
and another thing.
You're right, Jeannie, because it's been, you know why? In pop culture, since the 1980s with all the yoga and all the self-help stuff, and they've made karma this groovy thing to talk about karma, man. So they beat it to death with they just beat it to
but
death.
don't forget, they're only concentrating on the karma aspect. That's the negative part. They're not concentrating on dharma, which is the positive aspect.
Yes.
Right. And another thing is, don't let anyone take your joy away. Don't let anyone do it. Okay.
Yes.
Well,
you maintain that joy in your heart. It's like, and I keep talking about the Purkinje fiber, how that connects you to the infinite, because it's that electrical current in the heart that sparks. The only word I can think of is spark, but I do know that's an Abrahamic term. But it's it's the same thing. Like when they put those paddles on you, it's the same thing, if you're, but I mean, I'll never forget my near-death experiences where they brought me to this point where I have been able to go back and look at all this stuff. And I think that is the connection too, but don't let anybody take your joy away, Grandpa. Don't let anybody do it.
I would say there's also other indications, and some of these could be numerological, like similarity of dates of birth, dates of death, and stuff like that. I'll give you a good example. Yeah, it rhymes literally, because this morning
and it must be true if it rhymes.
Yeah, well, no. It just means take note.
Oh, really?
That's what it means. Like this morning, I was awakened by a big tongue licking me, and I instantly thought about how my rabbit used to wake me up by licking my forehead, And
it's like Ruby giving me a wet one on the nose.
I love it.
That's
I could sit forever and talk to you guys.
See, that's the thing. He died on 22/10/2010, and today is 10/10/22. Same numbers.
Wow.
22/10/2010. And 5 years, exactly 5 years after he died, he appeared to me in a dream, and he said that he was going to be reincarnated as a hippopotamus.
Oh God, I just got really bad chills. Oh God.
Yeah, as a hippopotamus.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And So it was like he was licking me as a hippopotamus in this life.
Wow.
Wow.
That's just
And he made
flippy.
me, yeah, he made me remember like that whole thing of like waking up and having him lick my face and stuff. I was like, oh my God, yeah, yeah. And he was the one who told me that he was going to be reincarnated as a hippopotamus. So I was like, yeah, that's the part of the soul evolution, that he went from being
I
like
didn't
something
know
else
to
to
do
being a
that.
rabbit to
Mm-hmm.
being a hippopotamus. And hippopotamuses, by the way, are also vegetarians. So maybe in the next life he's going to be something else, like maybe a human or a monkey, or I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you definitely can be and do anything you want.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
One of the things that Mike told me, he said, because we've lost some of our animals here due to unfortunate circumstance like heat exposure
Mm-hmm.
or other wild animals. And I said, Michael, what are we going to do? Are they going to come back? Like, what's going to happen? He says, yeah, they'll come back as a duck. They'll come back as a chicken. They
Yeah, through my guides, my understanding of it is that you progress through your, a single cell organism, and then you move your way through everything. And then becoming human is later down the road, but you're actually every animal, every plant, every type of tree, all of those things before you reach the human experience, because you need all that experience before you get to be human. And then
Mhm.
that's
after
the
human
anthropos.
after human
That's
would
the
be
anthropos.
when you
Yeah.
graduate, and you move on to the next.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Every soul com-
fascinating.
every soul comes into this existence as a photon, as a single photon, and from there on,
Hmm.
you become like an
Mhm.
electron, then maybe a
Sure.
proton,
Yep.
and then work your
It's
way
a
up to a
natural
bacteria.
evolution and progression.
It's,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
bac-
So true. Yeah.
bacteria, a
Yeah.
mineral, a plant.
Yeah. Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're coming to the end of the a little bit over the hour, but what fascinating discussion with everyone, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
what a great time, and
Yeah.
it's good to see everybody in chat. Grandpa Brian, thank you so much for being here. I know you need to
Oh,
work tomorrow, so you need to bug out. So
Jeannie has a
please,
quick announcement regarding
great.
her.
Grandpa Brian, thank you for sharing all that, and I'm sorry I
Yeah.
yeah.
interrupted you.
Thank you.
It's my
Yes.
pleasure.
Mhm.
Thank
We
you.
Don't
love
you
you.
work too hard. Yep,
Love
we
you
do
all
love you,
too.
Grandpa Brian. You betcha.
Okay.
So Jeannie has an announcement, very brief, and hopefully folks will watch this or watching it later will hear this.
Hmm.
We're trying to get a hold of Mary Mansfield and Claudette Malspina.
Hmm.
They both won
Yeah.
a beaded work from Jeannie's show with us on homesteading. And we've
Do you
been
like
trying to
those?
reach. Yep, you can show them. You can hold them up. We've been
Can you see
trying to
them?
reach out to them, and we've missed each other a couple of times in the chat room. So they need to contact us. They can check out our email and or do. Jeannie, what's the email for? It's Musgrave Michael.
Well, you can contact us through musgravemichael058@gmail.com. That's Musgrave Michael, last name, first name, 058@gmail.com.
Right.
Gotcha.
Or if you see me in a
And
chat room.
we'd love to hear from you so I can, and if you don't really like this one because it is a little bit bigger than the 7.5, if it's going to be too big, or, I have other ones that.
Yeah, you got a lot of stuff back there, that's for sure. So you've got plenty to send out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm making some designs with red, white, and blue.
Cool.
Oh, that'd be
That's
cool.
very cool.
Freedom.
So if we don't hear from the winners over the next week or two, we'll
Mhm.
just go ahead and draw
We'll
2 more
draw
names
more.
Yeah.
from the basket, because I still have the basket of names from that show. So we'll just
Mhm.
draw 2 more and go with that.
That sounds good.
Lori, did you want to say anything about Odyssey?
Just that we have a channel on Odyssey, which is a backup channel. go over and check us out over there. I have some of the videos, not all of them, but some of them on there to get everybody started. But yeah, just a way to have that backup and make sure that anything happens with YouTube. And of course, all those shows will be over there so you can check it all out. But yeah, hopping on the Odyssey train. So come on over.
Yeah. Aren't we all? Hey,
The one
Lucky,
thing about
Lucky here.
Odyssey, it's kind of hard to comment on Odyssey that I've noticed because I'm on 2 other channels.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to comment on it, but
Yeah.
I do like Odyssey because you
Yeah.
can talk about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, I opened my mouth a little bit on this one, but
Yeah, we're just trying
I
to
didn't
kind
mean
of
to.
expand a little bit and
Yeah.
just get us out there a
Yeah.
little bit more. So
Oh,
we've
and
been doing this for a little over 2 years.
yeah, yeah, it's been, and we're up to what, 560
So
subscribers now?
561 now.
On
Mhm.
YouTube, and then we have another 50 brand new followers in multimedia
Yeah.
and other social media. So we really appreciate that support and the continued growth in that regard. And all y'all that come in on the chat room, we love our chat room folks. They give us a good time and a lot of
You betcha.
knowledge.
Mhm.
Tune in Friday night
Yeah, this will be
because
cool.
our beautiful, beautiful
You're gonna have
sister.
2 in 1 week. Oh my Lord.
Yeah, we're having a twofer, and it's
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
it's also a
Mhm.
call in.
Mhm.
Our
Oh,
beautiful
okay.
psychic sister, Sophia Rasmussen, with All My Relations store,
Mhm.
good friend of
Oh, I
Brian's.
just got chills again. Oh my God.
She's coming on board Friday,
Mm.
and we'll
Yeah.
be releasing a show trailer very soon.
Tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
It has a message in there from her.
Mhm.
You'll hear it. Listen
Yep.
to the trailer.
Yep.
And join us Friday night because she's going to bring her gifts and talents to the table and
Mhm.
actually do some psychic readings for anyone in the
Yeah.
chat room that has a question.
You'll definitely want to call in on this
Come in
one.
and ask your questions and give her an opportunity
You
to
want to talk to a loved one. You want to
I
know
might
your
I
life
might need to ask
situation.
her a few questions myself.
Yeah, so it's going to be a great show, no doubt about it, and that'll be this Friday for you folks. Yeah. So yeah,
Yes, Go, I did. I reached out to Michael Sandler and I sent him a couple of memos. Yes.
yeah,
So we'll see how that goes. He's a
Yeah,
pretty busy dude.
yeah. Hope he answers, but if not, there's some other things down the pike as well. People, I'm sure
Send favor for that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Really appreciate everybody being here. Thanks for participating. Jeannie, thank you for sharing your story.
Jeannie.
Really appreciate
I
you
know that was tough.
coming.
But never let anybody take your joy away.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Be in bliss. Yep. Be in bliss. That's it.
Yep.
You got it.
That's
Jeannie,
right.
you've been an inspiration to me for the past 2.5, 3 years now. And so I
love you.
I hear
I
you.
love you, dear. I love you so much.
You're a major reason why I'm still here.
Thank
You and
you.
Susie both.
Thank
So
you.
love you.
Nice.
Thanks for being with us.
I love you.
Love
So
you
we'll
too.
see you all
I love
Friday. We'll see you all
Yeah.
Friday. Thanks
Ciao,
again.
Bar.
Appreciate you all.
Ciao,
God
Bar.
bless
Yep.
you. Peace.
Be of
Love.
value. Do something
Yep.
of value for others. Love
Be
you
in
guys.
bliss. Be in bliss.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye now.